Hi, granddaughter. It's me, your grandma, or Gigi, and I want to share something really special with you. I had found a book that I thought was really great, and I wanted to share it with you. And it is called My Very Best Daddy of All. My Very Best Daddy of All. Some daddies sing you awake. Are those birds that are singing? Some bring breakfast crunchy and sweet. Some daddies comb your hair gently, gently, so you'll be fresh and neat. Are those gorillas combing hair? I didn't know they could comb hair. Some daddies build you a house. Some play with you too. Are they playing together? I know your daddy plays with you. Some take care of your mama so she can go take good care of you. So that's a good role of daddies too. They take care of mamas. Some daddies come when you're lost. Are those zebras? Little baby zebra? Some hold you snug and tight. Some daddies even face every danger so you will be all right. They are so brave, daddies. Some daddies call, keep trying, keep trying. That's what daddies are good for. They also do a lot of encouraging. Some comfort you when you are crying. Some daddies say, stay very close beside you, whether you're fast or even when we're slow. Some tuck you in safe and warm when the sun goes down. And my daddy, haven't you guessed, from all the daddies, tall or small, mine is the best, the very best. I'd say yours is the best. Your daddy is the best, the very, very best for you. The very best daddy of all. Now that may not look like your daddy, but your daddy is the absolute very, very, very best daddy. God sent him just for you. And I love that story. This one is about Raggedy Ann. It's called Raggedy Ann's Nighttime Rescue. Marcella was a little girl who loved to play school with her dolls. This particular morning, Raggedy Ann, her favorite doll, sat at the window watching to see if anyone was late for class. But all Raggedy Ann saw was Marcella's puppy dog, Fido, playing with a scruffy yellow puppy in the yard. See that? Suddenly, Raggedy Ann's shoe button eyes grew wider. Fido and his friend were near a fence, and as she watched, the two dogs wiggled through a hole and disappeared. But Raggedy Ann did not say a word, for Marcella's dolls didn't want anyone to know that they could hear and speak. Magic dolls. By supper time, Marcella knew that something was wrong. It wasn't like Fido to stay away for a whole day. He didn't even come home for his supper, she said sadly, clutching Raggedy Ann and the Dutch doll. We'll find him, Mama comforted Marcella, if he's not home by tomorrow morning. I'll go look for him, Daddy said. Now you must eat your supper, Marcella. After Marcella had left the table, Raggedy Ann sighed from deep inside her soft, cottony stuffing. Oh, there must be something we dolls can do, she thought. That's Raggedy Ann. That night, the dolls lay in their beds and talked. Marcella was very sad at supper time, said the Dutch doll. She misses her dog so much. I think we should show our love for Marcella by trying to find Fido ourselves, said Raggedy Ann. He was playing with Priscilla's dog Perkins this morning. That's our first clue. Let's not waste any time, cries the tiny penny doll in a squeaky voice. Look at that. They're all jumping out of the house. Oh my goodness. All the dolls jumped up from their beds and ran to the open window in the playroom. They helped each other out into the windowsill and then jumped to the soft grass below. Plop! Down they fell, all sorts of funny positions, but naturally the fall did not hurt them. In a jiffy, the dolls reached the hole in the fence. Follow me, said the Indian doll. I'll pick up the dog's scent, and we'll find out which way they went. The dolls trailed along behind the Indian doll and Raggedy Ann. Soon they arrived at the Perkinsons' doghouse under the grape arbor in Priscilla's yard. Perkinsons were so surprised to see the little dolls coming up the path of the house. See that? They're coming way up to the dog. It's Priscilla's dollies, Raggedy Ann said to Perkinsons. We're very worried about Fido. Come in, barked Perkinson. The dolls crowded into his doghouse and sat down. I'm worried too, roar, he said. Fido and I ran to the Perkinsons, and we were playing while a big man came running over. Fido thought he wanted to play with us, but he didn't. He scooped Fido up. And what did he do? He put him in a wagon with a lot of other dogs. Perkins wiped his eyes with his paw. I followed the wagon and saw the man put all the dogs in a big wire cage. Poor Fido, said Raggedy Ann. That man must be the dog catcher. He locks up dogs who are running loose. It's so sad for them to be away from their owners for even a single day. Raggedy Ann stomped his her foot. Come on, Perkins. Show us where the dog catcher lives. We can rescue Fido ourselves tonight. You're going to go help him. With the dolls pattering behind him, Perkins led the way to the dog catcher's yard. There were the captured dogs whining softly in their cages. Have you ever heard a dog whine? They kind of sound like, oh, 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 oh. There was the captured dogs whining softly in their cages. Poor Fido was muddy and wide-eyed, wide awake, and his ribbon was untied. He was very happy to see the Perkins and the dolls, and he ran right over to them. We'll try to get you out, Raggedy Ann whispered kindly. Hurry, hurry, barked Fido as softly as he could. Hurry, hurry, oh, oh. Perkins held Raggedy Ann gently in the mouth and stood up on his hind legs so she could raise the catch on the cage. Fido nudged open the gate, scampered out, and closed the gate behind him. Some of the other dogs came over to see what was happening. Take us too, they said. But Raggedy Ann shook her head. I'm so sorry. Your owners will come and get you very soon. The dog catcher knows who they are from your dog tags. Tomorrow morning, he'll tell them you're here. Fido, Raggedy Ann, and the rest of the dolls followed Perkins down the street. Just as they reached the corner, the dog catcher came out of his house to see why the dogs were making so much noise. He could hardly believe his eyes. Who were all these tiny little people running down the sidewalk? Must be some sort of ghosts, he muttered. They don't look like ghosts. They're dolls. They're not ghosts. That's silly. Thank you for helping us, Raggedy Ann said to Perkins once they were safely away from the dog catcher's yard. There the dolls trotted away after Fido just as the sun was beginning to rise. How will we get back into the playroom, they asked. We can't jump up that high to get to the window. Raggedy Ann looked around. Maybe we can use that old chair. With much huffing and puffing, the dolls dragged the chair over to the window and managed to climb into the playroom. Fido followed them. He was so tired that he crawled into his basket and went right to sleep. Oh, Fido, Marcella cried. Look at Marcella, so happy. Oh, Fido, cried the next morning when she came into the Marcella cried the next morning when she came into the playroom. You're home, safe and sound. Yip, yip. Fido jumped up and wagged his tail. Then he licked Raggedy Ann's face so hard that her smile would have disappeared if it hadn't been stitched on. Isn't that a fun story? Well, I love you, granddaughter, with all of my heart, and I love reading stories to you. I would love to give you a hug in person. I love you, I missed you, and I'm going to read more stories to you really soon. I love you.